Good evening, guys. I don't know who's on yet. I'm going to give you a moment or two to get on if you are late coming into the show, so to speak. Hope everybody's been doing well and that you've been getting your homework done, because I know that's really been very important to you right now. Even though this is technically your second week of spring break for a lot of you guys, so I know it's probably a disappointing spring break being cooped up in your home, but you know what? I hope that's really what you're doing. I really hope that you're not going out and visiting a whole bunch of different people and going to great big groups of other where other people are at. Please be wise right now, guys. You know, we love you a lot and want you all to stay healthy and stay safe, because you know the virus, it's no joke. And if you think that you won't get it or that you won't get sick from it, you know, there have been plenty of numbers and studies out there indicating that that's not the case. So please, guys, please be safe, please be wise, and please stay healthy. You know that we love you just so very much, guys. Everyone in youth group, all the adults, we care very much about you, and I want you to be safe. We got stuff coming up this weekend that, well, I wish we could all be together for. Can you believe that this Sunday is Palm Sunday, and then the following Sunday is Easter Sunday? I mean, that's kind of hard to believe. And for the first time in my entire life, I think, I won't actually be in church for Easter Sunday, and that's going to be really peculiar and unusual. But you know, that doesn't change the meaning of the season and the day as we remember it. So I hope that you and your families can find a special way to commemorate and honor that day as we remember our resurrection of Jesus and his triumph over death and sin because of his love for us. So just be thinking about Easter, and maybe you want to talk to your mom and dad or whoever it is you're living with, and say, what can we do for Easter? What can we do that would be special? So think about that, keep it in mind, and gosh, I wish we could be together so much. I wish so much we could be together, because I'm missing you guys every day. I miss you more, I think, and I think about you, and just am hoping that, like I said earlier, you're staying safe and you're staying healthy. I want to make a couple of announcements. One of them is one that you have seen and heard before, but before I get to that, I want to make another one that's not such a hot announcement, and it really is disappointing, but it's also understanding. And I've been asking you guys to pray about it, but I did hear word earlier this week that we are going to have to be canceling the spring retreat, which would have been at the end of April. Of course, you know, all the shelter in place and the distancing and all of that's been extended to the end of April. And also got a message back, or a word back from the camp as well, and so they're making those decisions to keep people safe and healthy. So we will not be able to gather for spring retreat, but you probably remember that I promised that we would still be doing t-shirts in spite of the fact that we won't get together for spring retreat, and hopefully maybe we can find some other kind of way later down the road to put a little bit of something in place of the retreat. I'm not sure what that can be just yet, but you be praying and thinking about it, and I'd love to hear any ideas if you've got any. I will say at this point, whenever I've asked to hear from your ideas, you haven't been touching base back with me, so please, I want to hear from you. Shoot me messages on Messenger or post on my wall on Facebook, and yeah, I got an Instagram account, though I don't check it often, but if you'll start posting there, I'll start checking. Just reach out to me and let me know if you got any thoughts. So if you didn't watch last week's video, I'm going to go ahead and let you see, for those who haven't seen yet, there's our new logo and our new design for our t-shirts. Of course, Southview Wesleyan Youth, real friends, real faith, really. Our logo, or our name and our slogan hasn't changed at all, but the logo's changed significantly, and you can see our colors. They're going to be green and dark blue on yellow, and I hope that you like it. I kind of put quite a bit of work into it, and took some counsel and input from others, and just am really pleased with it. I hope you like it as much as I do. So we are going to be taking orders for t-shirts, and I want you to go ahead and fill out the consent form. We're going to repost here, hopefully in the next couple days, a consent form like you would have used for the retreat. And on that form will be the place to put the size that you want. And the form that we put, though, is going to be different. It's going to be a PDF form that you'll be able to complete on your phone or on your PC or Apple, whichever one you got, and shoot it back to me either through email or Messenger or text or whatever. You complete that and you get it back to me, and we will put together an order for t-shirts, and we'll get ourselves brand new t-shirts, and maybe hopefully by the time we all get back together, remember, you'll still need to give your $10 for the shirt later, but we're going to go ahead and try and get an order together and how many we're going to need. And by the time we all get back together next time, maybe we'll be able to have some t-shirts to spread around, and you'll be able to wear in spite of not having the retreat. So really, really disappointed in not having the retreat. But guys, I'm missing you so much and just can't wait till we get back together again. It's just a real disappointment, and I miss you guys a lot. I miss you guys an awful lot. I don't know. You're my people, and I love you, and I just really want to see you. So let's get into our lesson. Our lesson title tonight is Planted. Planted. I got some questions I want to ask you, and I know I can't hear your responses tonight. Maybe you want to shoot them out on the chat if you're watching right now on YouTube Live. Here's the first thing I want you to think about. What is it that makes you feel content in life? What are the things that make you feel satisfied and good about life? Is it when you're getting good grades and you can go home and tell your parents, I got great grades. What you're going to see out there is going to be awesome, and my teachers are happy with me, and I'm passing on my class. I'm not just passing them, I'm getting really great grades. Does that make you feel content and happy about your life? Maybe it's watching your best friend punch that guy on the bus right in the nose. Maybe not the right thing to feel good about, but maybe that's the thing that makes you feel good because, gosh, you really want to get even with him. I don't know. You tell me. Is it maybe when you've done really great in an athletic event in sports? Maybe you took first place in that cross country run, or your golf team took the tournament, or you're in choir. You went to state and you took a gold medal at competition for ISMA. What is it that makes you feel good? Is that one of the things when you're accomplishing those things? And they make you feel like you've worked hard and you've earned them, and you're getting recognized for that. Is it popularity? Everyone at school knows you. Everyone at school wants to be your friend. Or maybe it's just that the people that are your friends, well, they've accepted you and they like you for who you are. Is that what makes you feel good and content about yourself? Maybe it's knowing that you've got everything under control. That what's going on in life, you've got it handled, and things are good and they're smooth sailing, and that makes you feel content. Any of those things, maybe there's something else in your life that makes you feel content and happy about where you're at in life. What is it, though, that makes you feel strong? Like you can beat the world, like you can be victorious over the things that are coming at you and that you're facing. Maybe they're the same kinds of things that we just talked about for feeling content. Maybe those things also make you feel strong and make you feel like you can do anything or face the world. Maybe you think, I'm young. Well, maybe not so much, but maybe you think you're young. You got the whole world ahead of you and laying at your feet. You got your whole life before you, and nothing can take you down and beat you because you're young and you can handle it and you're having fun. And that makes you feel strong and triumphant over the stuff that you're facing. Is it maybe knowing that your family doesn't have to worry about money, or that you got a place to sleep and you got food in the pantry and a roof over your head, and those things make you feel like you're in power and like you're strong. Maybe it's always, maybe you've like had this knack for persuading people to your view or to your opinion or to your side. Some people have that. They've got this ability to just lay out the argument or talk other people into hearing their view and then agreeing with them. And that's a real knack. And some people, when they've got that ability, you feel like you're in control because maybe you're able to influence other people and make them or help them to have decisions that are like you and like-minded with you. And so you feel strong when you're able to do those kinds of things. You know, the way things are right now, I know that a lot of people are wondering what's coming next. They're looking at the things that they took for granted just a month ago, and they are seeing a whole different world than was around us just 1 month ago. Things just seem so different and so thrown up in the air. How can I be content when I can't even find stupid things like toilet paper or bread or rice? You know, if I can't find those basics, if those things are tough to find, or maybe they're not just tough to find, but when I do find them, they're more expensive today than they were that month ago. And that makes you feel uncertain. And it's hard to feel content when you've got those kinds of things going on. How can I feel strong or powerful when I can't even be sure I'll have my family tomorrow? I can't be sure the next time I'm going to be able to go out and visit my friends and see them and what's going on in their life. How can I feel strong when I can't have those things around me that give me strength and make me feel strong? A lot of people may be letting the situation rule their thoughts, and they spend a lot of time thinking about it. And they get wrapped up in it, even to the point where it begins to affect the actions that they take. And they begin to feel like they're desperate and out of control. And so they choose to do things that, just that month ago, they would never even have thought about doing. So the truth is, while we may feel like the world looks different just a month ago, it feels different than just that month ago, it really hasn't changed anything that's true about this world that we live in right now. While the situation may be different, what is true and what is real has not changed. It is still the same as it was, and tomorrow it will still be the same. And whatever happens by the end of April, all of those things will still be the same, even though we may still continue to face challenges. So what is it that gives you contentment and strength? Our contentment and our strength can remain firm. It can, but it's only going to do that if we will hear the advice that the prophet Jeremiah gave us in chapter 17. So I want you to see here a couple of verses. Out of Jeremiah 17, verses 5 through 6, Jeremiah said, "This is what the Lord says. Cursed are those who put their trust in mere humans, who rely on human strength and put their hearts away from the Lord. They are like stunted shrubs in the desert with no hope for the future. They will live in the barren wilderness, in an uninhabited, salty land." Now, I've heard some of the absolutely dumbest, most idiotic stories about people I think that I have heard ever just in these last 2 or 3 weeks. And as I start to share, you'll probably recall some of these, and probably you've heard some that I haven't, but you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you heard about that guy that went around through the store licking stuff in the store, right? Just because he wanted to show people how stupid he thought the whole coronavirus situation was. Of course, he found out later he maybe was the stupid one because he wound up in a peck of trouble, didn't he? You know, you've heard about, I think, at least a half a dozen different instances where people decided they were going to throw Corona parties, right? And then they go away from the party because they think, hey, we're going to just have some fun and get together with our friends anyway because it's just not that big a deal. And they go away from the party, and later on, someone from that party ends up getting sick because someone at the party was sick. I mean, how stupid was that? How dumb was that? And I know a first eyewitness story. This is someone that this is something that was told to Julie and I that someone witnessed personally. There was a guy in a grocery store piled up the cart full with toilet paper just as things were unfolding. At the beginning of the whole thing unfolding, piled his cart up with toilet paper, and there was an older fella standing right in front of him in line at the grocery store. And the older guy turns around and offers the guy, he says, I'll give you $20 if you'll give me one of your pile of packages of toilet paper. And the guy goes, I won't take 20, but I'll take 50. Eh? How incredibly selfish. How incredibly stupid and unfeeling. The things that people are willing to do and willing to say to make them feel strong and to make them feel, I suppose, in some way content in spite of the situation. But maybe worst of all in all of this are people thinking that if they follow all of the rules, all the social distancing, the hand washing, the sanitizing, masks on their face, they do all of the things that they think they're supposed to do, and that everything will just be okay. Right? To me, that's maybe the most foolish of all. If I do all the right things and check off all the boxes, it's all going to be okay. Now, I'm not one to say let's go panic and just assume that a lot of people are going to suffer from this, and we know that there is suffering right now. All of these things that I've talked about, they grow out of people's desire to trust their own self-centered judgment. I say self-centered because it's what they want. It's the outcome they want to have. It's what they desire. They think that if I can do these things and be happy and content, I can prove to myself that I'm strong. I get what I want, and I'll have what I want. Jeremiah told us that placing our confidence in our own judgment and the strength of other humans, it leads to one place. And it's a place that is empty, and it's a place that is without any true hope. That's why people get panicky, and they get selfish, and they even get downright hateful when they discover the world is spinning out of control around them, and no matter whether they tried to do those things or not, they've come to this realization that they're not in control, that maybe they're not strong, and they definitely are not content, and they get panicky and angry. Jeremiah, what did he say? Oh, that's verse 5. Let me give you verse 6. He said, they will live in the barren wilderness, in an uninhabited, salty land, an uninhabited, salty land. That salty land means that nothing will grow there. Nothing will exist there. And that's what happens within our hearts when we desire only what we want selfishly for ourselves. It takes us to this kind of place because we think we can do it on our own strength. We think we can do what we want. And then we get to the place where we are out of control and we have no control and realize how empty and hopeless and without strength we really are. Now, guys, I want to talk to you for a couple minutes about some people that were very important to me and played a really important part in my childhood. This is Wayne and Linda. They are some folks as a kid who were very, very dear to me. Wayne was my pastor growing up as a kid. And, for a lot of years, he was my pastor. Now, you're thinking probably already, hold on, you just told us that we shouldn't rely on humans and we shouldn't put our strength there. And you're right, you're absolutely right. We should not put our strength and our hope in human beings. But let me tell you something about Wayne. He taught me what it looked like to love God. As a kid, he showed me by his example what it meant to trust and depend on God. He taught me his word. He showed me by his actions how much he loved the people around him. He demonstrated his leadership through very unselfish acts of servanthood to other people. He did this for me and my whole family, to be honest, at a time in my life when I was very confused, when in my heart I was hurting a lot. And Wayne and Linda both showed me what it was like to trust and to love God. They loved God so much that everything else in their lives became about God. Serving Him, loving people because that's the way that God wanted them to behave and what God had for them, to love others. Their trust and love for God in a very real way is what saved me and brought me to a great degree to the kind of person I am today. Now, when I received the call to ministry, now that was a long time ago, back in I wanted to be like Wayne. He was the example that I looked to as a pastor. And I thought, if I could be as good a pastor and minister as Wayne, he's my goal. That's what I want to be like. There were times throughout my career as a pastor and my life in ministry that in the back of my mind, I would be measuring myself against Wayne, because he was a man who loved God so much. And I'll be honest, there are times I felt like I failed. And there are times I felt I didn't get where I should be or where I needed to be at. But I'm going to guess, that Wayne probably felt that way himself. He was my example. So, what does all of this have to do with contentment and with strength? Well, Jeremiah went on in verses 7 and 8. And here's what he said. But blessed are those who trust in the Lord and have made the Lord their hope and confidence. They are like trees planted along a riverbank with roots that reach deep into the water. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Their leaves stay green and they never stop producing fruit. They never stop producing fruit. Let me tell you the rest of the story now. Wayne worked a full-time job and essentially full-time pastored at the church I grew up in. It's just a smaller church, and it was out in the country. But Wayne gave everything to that church. He gave himself literally in a tireless way. I know all hours of the night he was called upon for situations that were definitely not his responsibility, but he would respond to anyway because he loved the church. But it wasn't just the church, because it was a small community and it was the only church in that community. And when Wayne came as a pastor and as people got to know him, everyone in town, whether they came to our church or not, knew that when they were having troubles, they could go to Wayne. They could go and see him, and he would at least hear them. And I know he would offer them Christ at every turn. Now, as Wayne went on in his ministry and his life, and he did eventually leave my church, and that was a tough, hard, sad day for me, I know. I remember it very clearly. But as he went on in his life, he gave, sometimes I think, to the point where it was a detriment to his own health. He was always placing the work of ministry above himself. Yesterday, I received word that Wayne passed away. And of course, when someone who has been important in your life passes away, it hits you in your heart. And I'll say it's been many years, really, truly many years, since I've seen Wayne face to face. But to this very day, because of the influence and all of the things that Wayne did, I still have thought and will continue to think of Wayne as my pastor. He is my pastor, and he will always hold that place in my life. It's sad that Wayne is not with us anymore, and I know that it's hard for Linda and for his daughters and his whole family to say goodbye to him at this point, especially in a time where funerals are very, very limited in attendance and not a lot of people can come. And they probably aren't able to remember and honor him the way that they would like to, and that might make it even more difficult. But you know, at the same time, there's something very inspiring and hopeful that's in it also. Wayne was like the tree planted by the river. The hardship of the world never shook his confidence, because he knew that his real strength and his real confidence, it wasn't from him, it wasn't from Linda, it wasn't from his family, it wasn't from his friends. His strength and his confidence came from God. Even though Wayne has reached his reward in heaven now, something I am very sure of is that the fruit of his work and the ministry that he did, and the ministry that God gave him, the fruit that it bore, it's not going to go away anytime soon. All that he did throughout his life, it's going to continue to produce. I know that with absolute confidence. Not just because Wayne was special to me, but because I can tell you the names of others who were very much like me, where Wayne did so much in their lives to love them, to minister to them, to care for them, to be their pastor. And I know that what he has done continues on. He is like the tree that is planted by the water, whose leaves are always green, and who bears much fruit. Wayne isn't with us, but his strength and his confidence goes on with us, because it wasn't Wayne's strength and confidence, it was God's strength and it was God's confidence. And when we plant ourselves in God, and we learn to trust him, no matter how hard things get, how difficult or challenging things get, how stir crazy we get in our homes and in those apartments and the places that you are, God is stronger. And he can be your strength and he can be your confidence. And you can be like Wayne and become the strength and confidence for others, because you give from your own life to your parents, to your siblings, to the people that you pass 6 feet away, right? 6 feet away, in kindness, and you tell them, God loves you, stay healthy, care about you. Reach out to folks on Facebook or Messenger or Instagram or FaceTime, whatever you do. So I want to give you a challenge. This is something I want you to do. Of course, I want you to continue placing yourself and planting yourself in God. I want you to try to begin and model a life that's like Wayne. But I want you to do something special beyond that. Later on, here in just a couple minutes when we're wrapped up tonight, I really want to encourage you, if you're on the youth group chat, go out to the chat. And that's going to be one of the few times I tell you to do this. Because usually what do we say? News, news, news. Only the news on the chat, right? Tonight, go out to the chat and give us a sentence or two about the person who is your Wayne. And if you want to tell us who they are, awesome. Who was your Wayne? Who was the person who has loved you and who has given you strength and who has helped you feel content and strong? Tell us out on the youth group chat group. Or, secondly, I want you to do that, but I want you to do one more thing. I want you to think real seriously about reaching out to that person. Shoot them a message, give them a call, text them, whatever it is. And let them know how much you appreciate them and how much you love them and how much you thank God for what they've done in your life and how they've allowed God to use them in your life. Let them know right now. And then, if you appreciate all that God has done for you through that person, then like I said earlier, turn around and be like Wayne. Do the same for someone else. Do you want to feel confident in the absolute worst places or strong when you know that you're the littlest guy in the room? Follow Jeremiah's advice. Strive to be a Wayne or a Linda. Ignore your own wisdom, your own plan, your own desires, and plant yourself right next to Jesus. Because that's where we'll flourish. And that's where you'll find a real contentment and a real strength, not your own. All right, guys. Thanks for taking the time to jump in and watch the stream. If you're catching us partway through, you'll be able to continue to follow this link. I'm also going to post the link on the church Facebook page so you can leap to it there real quickly as well if you need to. I'm going to say a word of prayer and wrap up tonight, guys. Father, I just want to thank you so much for my people at youth group. Youth group's not a place, though. It's a group of people that love each other and care about each other, and people that I hope all love you and care about you. Remind us, Father, in this season, as we approach Palm Sunday and Easter, that you have given us a great gift and you love us very much. And even when we are in the middle of very uncertain and trying times, we can find our contentment and we can find our strength in you. Things may seem uncertain, but you're the one certain thing that we can rely on. Help us to find that strength and contentment in you, to take it and to turn it into action, to be someone that touches other people's lives and makes a difference for them. You've given a lot to us, and you've given people to us who have cared for us. So help us to do the same as well. Fill us up with your contentment and fill us up with your strength so that we can do the very same thing. We thank you for everything, Lord, and we ask it in your absolute most holy name. Amen. Before I go, just want to remind you, shoot us a message out there on the youth group chat about who it is that has been your Wayne or your Linda, just a sentence or two, and then make an effort to reach out and let that person know how much you appreciate them and how much you love them. And then you do the same. Love you guys. I miss you lots and lots. Miss Julie misses you. And we just can't wait till we see you guys. Hope it's very, very, very soon. Call us, chat with us on Messenger, FaceTime. We want to talk to you guys if you're available. We love you. See you guys later.